Hello, everybody. Welcome or welcome back to my channel where stories and other random things take center stage and imagination rise above all. Welcome to today's video, which is part 2 of my recommendations for after the Aurora cycle. Let's get started right away. But if you haven't watched any of the videos for the Aurora cycle, including the first recommendations video, check out the playlist in the description along with pretty much every other playlist I have, because I do link a couple of playlists all the time in my description so that you can view more of my content. So yeah, check it out. Anyway, let's begin with number 12. And that is Murderbot Diaries by Martha Wells. I love these books, okay? I love them. It kind of, okay, we follow the point of view of an android, right? And she is literally the most relatable character I've ever read. She's amazing. But basically, we follow Murderbot, who, she is, it kind of starts off when she's assigned to these people, right? And she has to help them in their mission, and she basically has to she helps them out in their missions, and she in the mission, right? And they find some people dead, and they try to figure out who killed them and why. So yeah, that's kind of how it starts off. But the Murderbot Diaries are self-contained stories. I mean, in like the first 4 books, there's like a bigger plot, but and that sort of still show up in the 5th and 6th book, but it's mainly very much self-contained. Like each of those stories are self-contained, which is what makes it really interesting. And most of them are short, so they're like novellas. There's only one full-length novel, so it's easy to read, and it works. Hold on, let me make sure I have. Oh, look at that. Okay, 3 reads to recommend together. And those are Heart of Iron, Once Upon a Con, and Among the Beasts and Briars by Ashley Poston. Heart of Iron follows Anna, who is looking for a memory core for her friend Di. And as she seems to have found something that could have it, she ends up mixing up with these other people, and she ends up finding out that she is the princess of this kingdom, and she's meant to be a that she's supposed to be the chosen one, or the goddess. She's supposed to stop this magical thing from happening. I haven't read it in a while, and I really need to read it. Once Upon a Con are basically like fairy tale retellings of but in fandom, in the space of fandom. I'll link it below because I reviewed it, and I gave a couple of recommendations as well. So I did review it, and I did give a couple of recs for that. But but yeah, that's basically what it is. It's basically, it shows Cinderella, the Prince and the Pauper, and Beauty and the Beast. Among the Beasts and Briars is about this girl's supposed to become queen, but it's like she has like this, like, I think it's like wild magic because of the crown. I think they try to control this wild magic or something. But in her coronation, something goes wrong, and her best friend ends up trying to, trying to figure out what's happening and see if she can get some help. It's very, I don't know how else to really describe it. I do want to reread it because I did enjoy it. 16. Dragon Ball. Okay. In Dragon Ball, the original, we follow Goku, who ends up meeting Bulma because she almost crushed into him, and she's looking for the Dragon Balls, which are these like 7 orbs that you put together, and a dragon comes out when you ask him to come, right? And when the dragon writes, he can grant you any wish that I guess within reason, and by within reason I mean within reason that the creator of Dragon Balls, if the creator of the Dragon Balls can give you that power, so that's what I mean within reason. But yeah, so she ends up trying to take his Dragon Ball, but he doesn't let her, and she ends up asking him to come along with her as her bodyguard, and he does, because he's like really really strong, and he ends up going along with her and learning about the city and about the outside world from where he is. It's actually kind of adorable. So that's who we follow. 17 is Naruto. Honestly, I feel like Naruto is one of the most Naruto and recommendation 23, which I won't tell you right now, are the two that I think are the most similar to the Misfits part about the Aurora cycle. So it's amazing. But Naruto, we follow our titular character Naruto, who, okay, 12 years earlier, before the story takes place, the nine-tailed fox pretty much almost destroyed the Hidden Leaf Village. And in order to save everyone, the fourth Hokage, who is basically the Hokage is basically their leader, sealed half of the nine-tailed fox in a newborn baby. And said newborn baby is Naruto. So he sealed him again with him. And 12 years later, Naruto lives, we follow him 12 years later, but he lives kind of like as an outcast. Everybody pretty much has an issue. They have very little, everyone has an issue with him because of the simple fact that he hosts the nine-tailed fox, and he doesn't know about it in the beginning, but he finds out because of someone. And everyone pretty much hates him, but he has this one goal, and that is to become Hokage, so that everybody can look up to him and respect him, or finally respect him, really. And we kind of follow him as he goes on his journey and his training, and as he attempts to basically go for that goal. It can be hard to watch at times, but it's very interesting. Okay, number 18. The Rising of the Shield Hero. How I love this. The Rising of the Shield Hero follows Naofumi Iwatani, who is going into the library and is reading this book. He's basically looking for a book, and it tells him about 4 heroes: the sword, the bow, the spear, and the shield hero. But there's no information on the spear hero. On the shield hero. But when he goes to find out, he gets transported into this world along with 3 other men from alternate versions of Japan, and they're asked to save the world from basically from these waves, which are the waves of catastrophe, which are like really bad things. So that's something that happens. And when they go off in an adventure, though, nobody wants to go into the Shield Hero's party because they consider him weak and a loser. And this girl ends up agreeing to go along with him, and she basically seduces him into buying her new armor, and later accuses him of a crime he did not commit. All his funds and everything is kind of taken away from him, and he goes everything kind of goes dark from there. It's interesting. 19. Ouran High School Host Club. I will link it below, along with Shield Hero and everything else I recommend that I reviewed. I will link it. Ouran High School Host Club follows Haruhi Fujioka, who is looking for a quiet place to study and ends up stumbling into Music Room 3, which is basically an abandoned music room. And she goes in and she ends up meeting the host club, where the school's handsomest gentlemen with too much time in their hands entertain young ladies who also have too much time in their hands. So yeah, that's a thing. So she ends up, however, she meets them and ends up breaking a vase that costs 8 million yen, which is about $76,000, I think. Last I checked, it's about $76,000. So she has to work with them as like their errand boy, because they do believe he's a guy, or she's a guy. And in order to pay back the debt. However, due to circumstances, they end up finding out that she is actually a girl. And Haruhi doesn't care about that because she has specific beliefs about the fact that she's a girl. So, yeah. Anyway, then now they have to do their best to keep her secret, and so that no one basically finds out. Okay, 20. Fruits Basket. Whichever one, you can either watch both or whichever you like, because there is a reboot of Fruits Basket, and then there's the original, which is kind of like a product advertisement, the way I see it. So Fruits Basket follows Toru Honda, who lives in a tent. However, due to some circumstances, she ends up moving in with the Soma family. And there, she finds out their secret. Certain members of their family, specifically 13 of them, are touched by, when they are hugged by the opposite sex, they turn into a Chinese zodiac animals, into one of the Chinese zodiac animals. Yes, that's their curse, and she's allowed to keep the secret by the head of the family. So, okay, I gotta stay still. I keep rocking. So yeah, they stay. So yeah, that's the main plot, and she ends up figuring out there are other things happening as well. 21. Avatar: The Last Airbender. I want to make sure I review this too. Avatar: The Last Airbender follows siblings Sokka and Katara when they end up finding this little kid frozen in an iceberg named Aang. And eventually, though, they, due to a couple of circumstances, they find out that he's the Avatar, and he's the only person that can basically bend all four elements, and he's also the only person that can defeat the Fire Lord and stop the current war. So they end up going on a journey to try to basically find teachers so that he can learn the elements. However, it all takes a turn when they end up visiting, they go to see Avatar Roku, who is one of his past lives, and who basically really wants to see him and to tell him some things. And they find out in that visit that Sozin's Comet, a very strong artifact that can give the firebenders immense amount of power, will be arriving by the end of summer, and then the Fire Lord will use it to basically destroy everything. So Aang has to learn, has to master the elements before the comet arrives. Yep. The Legend of Kora is my next recommendation, and the Legend of Kora pretty much follows Korra, who is mainly sheltered in this tribe, and we follow her as she ends up going to the city in order to get some airbending training, because Tenzin couldn't go to the tribe right away. And we kind of see her in the city and her journey, and also in her journey as an avatar, which is the best way to describe it, because each season there's like no overarching plot. Each season has an overarching plot, but there's no full-on overarching plot in the story. So it's kind of hard to describe, but I mean, I still like it, but it's a fact. And last but not least, 23, DC's Legends of Tomorrow. Okay, I'm going to try to describe this, even though it's been years since I have watched an episode of it. The Legends of Tomorrow are... Okay, so these different people kind of just get taken, or like, I don't even know how to describe it, but it's like they're recruited by this guy to help them kind of like save, they're basically become superheroes, but they travel across different parts of time depending on what they have to do. I don't know what else to describe, but they're all kind of like misfits, and they don't fit in one way or another. There's so much that happens that I don't know how to properly describe how to properly describe this series. So those are the end of my recommendations. I hope you like them. I hope you find them interesting, and I hope they help you out, you know? And hey, by the way, tomorrow is Valentine's Day. I have a romance review for you guys tomorrow. Oh, I have a review for you. Oh dear. I just hope I don't make anybody in my audience mad with this review, because yeah, I just hope I don't. Anyway, I'll see you guys tomorrow for my review. I'm not gonna say what it is, but I'll tell you all about it tomorrow. Until then, consume stories. Bye.